Good afternoon, evening, and it's still good morning here in Australia. Welcome to Magic Partners Live. Next to me is Chase from DisneylandToday.net, and we are back again this time with a midweek show. Pretty excited about that one. Just thought we'd try something different. I hope you guys, it's a great time for you guys to join in. Don't forget to drop a comment and tell us what you want to hear about today. We are more than you're more than welcome to do that and say hi, whatever you like. I'll be monitoring the questions as they come through and make sure they go up on screen. Chase, it's been a big week in Disney this week. We have seen the end of Halloween and we now move on to the holiday season, which is pretty exciting. You have to help me out here because I've never been to a Disney park in a holiday season. So,
oh, wow.
So you have to inform me how magical it is. I've only watched from afar, and that is pretty good as well because it must be a magical feeling to be in a Disney park during the holiday season. And
well, I just heard that I read an article in a couple of places now that on Halloween, riders in Pirates of the Caribbean had to be rescued by people wading into the water to get them off the boats. They were stuck there for about 90 minutes.
Okay, all right. It's not the first time a ride's broken down, and not the the last time it's going to break down. But yeah. Wading in water. No, thank you.
The guests didn't have to, but cast members came in like full, what do you call it? Those suits where you
waders
up to your
waders, yeah.
And they came in those because the water is like 3.5 feet deep. And so they came in on those and helped unload everybody from wherever they were. They had to they had to push some of the boats into a better position so that they could get out in certain parts. But yeah, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean would be a cool ride to be, walked off of. But
absolutely,
yeah, I mean that happened on Halloween, on actual Halloween day. So. But, it looks like I probably will be keeping my November 30th reservation because there's nothing for December.
Absolutely nothing for December. We'll get on to that later. There's a little bit of news coming up about December. And we'll talk about that a bit later, and it sort of extends on from Magic Key and all that sort of stuff. But let's just take a look. So the holiday season running from 12th of November through to January 9th. And that includes all the decor, including a few nights which are now sold out, various nights. But just talk us through what sort of happens in the park, in terms of a transformation that in Disneyland every year, Chase.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's definitely beautiful. This is a great time to go because now everything is already getting the holiday treatment. So the castle has been completely decked out in snow and icicle lights. Wreaths and garland are going up everywhere. New Orleans Square is covered in festive garland and beads and the huge, Mardi Gras mask, the masquerade. It is absolutely beautiful at Christmas time, and that goes for California Adventure as well. There are a lot of what looks like almost like hand-strung kind of decorations in the trees around the Grand Californian.
Yep.
And it's just, it's really, really beautiful at Christmas time. Yep. And so, I mean, they have to start working even before Halloween is over, because of the fact that it comes up so fast. And November 12th will be here before we know it. And everything has to be ready when they do that overnight crunch time. So everything is just like last minute on November 11th, and it's all got to be ready because It's a Small World converts for the holiday.
Yep.
Um, and you just have to have all of those lights up, and there are thousands, thousands of lights. But It's a Small World holiday is absolutely one of my favorites. The park is very, very beautiful. We're getting the Christmas parade. We're getting Christmas fireworks. Um, it's going to be the first time that we have a parade that's available for everyone to see. So
Yep.
not just an Oogie Boogie type event where we see, where we saw the Halloween one. The Christmas parade is for everyone to see, and we're going to get the fireworks, which are going to be most likely just beautiful. And I read that it's very, very possible that with
Mm-hmm.
the events going on at California Adventure, that they plan to have um, basically a holiday World of Color, which would be like perfect for why they're doing it. Why they're doing the refurbishment now. But are they going to be able to do it in time? Is the question.
Yep.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see if that's the case,
Yep.
because it just looks like there's still so much work to do.
Absolutely.
But
Um,
I mean, that's what I read, and I was like, I hope that's the case. I hope World of
yeah.
Color will be back for the holidays.
Absolutely, because we were sort of skeptical whether World of Color was going to come back at all because it hadn't been
Right.
serviced in so long. And
Exactly.
it does take a lot to get that show going after nearly 2 years now again. Um, uh,
Right.
Obviously, they'd have to drain all the water off and service, the lights, the water pumps. There's also fire blowing instruments there as well. So there's a lot to service, and also after that service, to get a new show ready and choreographed is something that would take quite a while, I imagine.
I mean, they would have had to have been planning that from like the time that the park opened.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's been well kept from us. We didn't, like I said, we didn't think it was going to come back, but I'd love to see it back because I think it's one of the best things about the Disneyland Resort. Hope you agree. It's a absolutely fantastic show every time you go and see it. And over there in DCA, we've got the Festival of Holidays coming back as well. So talk us through what we sort of see in the Festival of Holidays. Have you actually witnessed a Festival of Holidays as yet,
I have
Chase?
not been to it, but from what I've gathered, this is kind of like a holiday food and wine festival.
Oh, right.
So there are several pop up food booths that come up,
Yep.
and you can have like a sip and savor type of pass,
Yep.
where you can go to all these different places and try all different types of drinks and holiday food. I have seen pictures of the booths being prepared and ready, so
Yep.
that looks like it's something that's definitely getting ready to come up. They're decorating them with really nice colors and garland, so they're going to be very, very pretty. But the Feliz Navidad celebration is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of the biggest draws, because when you have like you have the Three Caballeros and Coco, which are both, a classic and a modern draw for fans. So showing this sort of, heritage and culture is great for Disney to do, especially around the holidays. So that's a big deal.
Yep.
And all kinds of other ways to celebrate the holidays over at California Adventure, because so much goes on in Disneyland. So they need equally an amount of,
Yep.
entertainment over at California Adventure.
And a look at Cars Land over the holiday period. Cars Land transforms again out of Halloween, and that is really something to see as well. It's really good fun over there. While we're
I think
talking,
it's
go ahead. Sorry, Chase.
they have some of the coolest stuff. They have like the neatest way of decorating for any holiday.
Yep.
Halloween is great, Christmas is great. They managed to do something that you can't do in just any land. They're able to make it like Christmas, like that you would experience with cars like this. I mean, all of it is great. Halloween is great. Being able to turn things that you never would have thought would be Christmas related, like even the white wall tires that make the wreaths
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You just like, oh, I guess that definitely could be considered. You know, you could probably come up with like a hubcap that looks like a snowflake. Who knows?
Yep.
Carsland is a great way to decorate.
It is. Yep.
It's incredible.
And just a shout out to our Australian viewers. So I was talking to a lot of Australians this week on our Facebook page, and they were telling me that they're kind of not going over for Christmas because international flights opened up to the US on the 1st of November, a few days back. And a lot of people kind of have the look, they're going to wait and see. But just to tell you guys, if you do go over the holiday period, maybe next year, these are the kind of things you're going to see, and it's well worth a look. In fact, I would say you could catch Halloween, like go on a 2-week sort of trip over to Disneyland at the end of October, and then catch Halloween, and then the start of the holiday season would be absolutely magical to do it that way, I think, because they're so close, you can actually catch both of them. I mean, so
yeah, you get towards the end of October and the holidays merge.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you're going to get the best of both worlds if
Yep.
you go towards the end of October.
Yeah. So you get this sort of, like, if you sort of go right at the end of October and then sort of stay there for 14 days and get the 12th of November, you get the start of the holiday season, which, yeah, it's great way to sort of travel if you want to go there at that time, because you get the best of both worlds sort of thing. And those two times in the park, I hope you agree, Chase, probably are the best times of the year. The decorations, what they do in the park, and the special nights are fantastic to see. So that is my tip for you traveling to Disneyland. Make sure you go at that time. That's tip number one. So we got some news also on sort of the food that's coming to Disneyland and Disney World, which always is huge this time of year. So let's take a look at some of it. There's one thing about Disney. You'd say that. There's one thing about Disney food. Anytime it's fantastic, but at this time of year, look, even the churros change. Even the churros change. So we've got a whole heap of heartwarming sort of food, and as you can see, a whole heap of new desserts coming at Disneyland. I want
a churro that's covered in caramel that's dipped in hot chocolate.
Yeah. So if you've never been to the parks, the food is fantastic at any time, and there's lots of places in the park where they actually make the food in front of you. I know in Disneyland there is a little spot where you can just sit there and watch them make caramel apples and all sorts of different things. So
you can catch all kinds of confections if you just if you walk up and down Main Street. Depending on what time it is, usually in the morning is a good time to catch it. Like first thing in the morning, and stuff like that is when they really get started, because they just pump the street full of that delicious smell. And so it's like you can smell every type of wonderful scent as you're walking down Main Street. And it's you can watch them do anything from making pretzels to fudge and the caramel apples and like Tigger and Cheshire cattails. and it's just all kinds of amazing, like the Rice Krispie treats, everything. It's just like, it's like the worst thing to do is have like that glass door there, because it's like, please let me have some.
Well, let's just take a look at Disney World as well, because they've got a lot of food items coming through which look absolutely sensational. A few drinks there as well. Just want to eat them all, and they know, like Chase said, they know how to get you to
Oh,
eat
that
them.
bread looks so good.
So yeah, fantastic food coming in both parks this holiday season. And just wanted to go over as well, over to Disney World, and talk about, like, I don't know too much about this, but there's a candlelight procession that happens over
Yes.
there in Epcot.
Disneyland gets one too.
All right, awesome. So what? So talk me through what is the candlelight procession over there, and what happens. This one's in Epcot over here in Disney World. So it looks like a bit of a choir there. Is it sort of like a show, Chase, or how does it work?
Yes, it's a very exclusive kind of show, and the way that they do it at Disneyland, it's right there on Main Street. They
Mm-hmm.
gather just underneath the train station, right at the front,
Wow.
and they usually have, like, where the tree sits. They usually have several white fold-out chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can get in one of those chairs, you can. I mean, and I think you have to have like either a ticket or something that shows, like, you can't just like sit in there all day, and
Right.
then, as far as I know, and try and get in to see it. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure they probably have a couple where people do try to do that, and they'll sit
Yep.
there all day and literally wait hours in order to see this show.
Yep.
And it's only happening like a couple or a few nights,
Right.
and it's just it is a beautiful choir that comes out at in the evening, and
Mm-hmm.
they just do this amazing performance. It's like a little concert
Wow.
of beautiful Christmas songs, and kind of like what would be almost like carols, and it's just very, very beautiful. And I wish I could see. I haven't seen them before, but I certainly know what happens, and I've seen videos, and they are just stunning, stunning shows. And the one in Walt Disney World certainly looks nice in that setting. It looks beautiful. um, but of course, the one in Disneyland has its own charm. Being outside by Main Street and looking straight down the middle of Main Street there,
Yeah.
with the
Perfect
tree and
setting.
all the lights on, and
Yeah.
it's it's very, very beautiful. But it is very, very difficult to try and see, because they really do limit the seating.
Yep.
um, and it's not meant for a bunch of people to just crowd around and watch, like you watch fireworks or a parade.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it's going to be very strictly monitored this time around during the pandemic and everything like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
forever, whoever gets to see this, I'm jealous, because it's a once in a lifetime kind of show that you get to see, and extremely beautiful, and it really pulls on the heartstrings with the holidays coming up and Christmas and
Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you have to sort of buy a ticket to view this.
I don't know if it's a ticket or what you have to do, but I think
Mm-hmm.
there's something involved, like, somehow, and I'm sure, like, press gets in there. So if you have, like, if you're high on Disney's list for press,
Yep.
you probably get in there. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work this time around, but I have seen, videos in the past of them setting up, and it's usually just a small, small amount of fold out chairs, and it's a very, um, almost like a, um, very respectful,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like, serious type of thing, like you would go to a real concert,
Concert.
and
Yep.
a beautiful, like, type of thing, where there's a certain amount of silence. It's not, people like cheering and loud noises everywhere, and
Yep.
it's just really, really beautiful. Like you would go to a stage like theater
Yeah.
and see these magnificent performers. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes down this year.
Yeah, because they do have specific shows sometime in the holidays at Disneyland and Disney World. They do like holiday specials, don't they? And they have performers on stage like Mariah Carey or someone like that, and they sort of do a show. I've seen them on Disney Plus appear from time to time. Is that sort of a sort of private entry after hours sort of thing, or is that just park goers sort of get to watch those shows? Do you know, Chase?
I think those ones, because I know the they film the Christmas parade that airs on Christmas Day like way in advance.
Yeah,
Um, and it used to be like a thing, like I think the way that they used to have it was they'd have a certain amount of people that they'd want to be in certain positions and who would have stuff to interact with it. Like it wasn't just anybody could go and see these things during filming
yeah,
of something. So especially with a celebrity there, I think they have to be even more specific on who shows up.
yep,
But I'm not even sure how they're going to be doing that. It might be like an invitation only with maybe only cast members, friends, family, stuff like that, without being like an open invitation for everybody to see, just to make sure that they're being safe. Um, that's my guess anyway, because it looks like you'd never just regularly see them filming with a celebrity unless there's something going on and they have signs up immediately in the front that says, you know, there's going to be something filmed today, please excuse our,
yeah,
you know, and all that kind of stuff, just like you saw with the red carpet premiere for Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
So it was they were very, very selective on who could get where and
Yep.
where people showed up on camera, because they also have to make sure that they're keeping an eye on kinds of things that people are wearing and what they're doing, because
Yep.
you don't
Yep.
want somebody going up to a camera going, yeah, hi man, I'm on TV.
Yeah, yeah. Or wearing an inappropriate t-shirt or a t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yep.
keep they have to look at that, and everything has to be perfect. And
Yep. Yep.
so
They do it so well.
I
Yep.
imagine that they'll be very selective on these events coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't know whether we're going to get a Christmas special this year, simply because of the pandemic and everything else. But hopefully we do see something appear on Disney Plus, because yeah, it's always good to see the parks at Christmas on a special like that. They do it so well. Something else coming back to Disneyland. And thank you very much for reporting on this at DisneylandToday.net.
Sure.
Was the Main Street Electrical Parade. I've witnessed this in the flesh, and it's really awesome. It's a very, very old show, but a very, very much loved show that's coming back. And for me, this is the first parade coming back to a Disney park since the pandemic. Would that be right in saying that? I mean, they've had, small parades go through Disney World and Disneyland, but not real parades. This will probably be the first, which pretty much means that parades are back. Would you say that is, kind of true in a way? Do you think this will be the launch of parades?
This will be the classic type of parade, but I think the one at Christmas is going to be even more iconic, and I think it's going to be a lot more successful.
Yeah.
Disney has a way of using the Main Street Electrical Parade as something to kind of smooth things over when things are kind of rocky.
Yeah. Yeah,
so if you look at the history and you look at when and why they bring the Main Street Electrical Parade back, it's usually because either they don't have enough attendance somewhere that they need people to be seeing something that is classic.
Yep.
Or, they just they need to kind of cover up to kind of distract you and have some more time with something.
Yeah.
So that's why it says, it's like it's its last run, and then of course, like 5 years they bring it back. And you're like,
again.
Wait, wasn't 5 years ago the
last
run?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they were saying that
So,
I saw it in 2019, which is a couple of years ago now, and that
right.
was supposed to be the last run then. So it's back again. Yeah, but look, there's no problem for me with it coming back. It's a fantastic show, and they did do a show. I don't know if it was over at DCA. Look, it was like a sort of more modern nighttime parade, which appeared, I'm
Oh
going to
yeah,
say about five,
uh,
6 years ago.
Paint
What
the
was that called?
Night.
Yeah,
Paint the
yeah.
Night. Mhm.
I love that
Yeah,
parade.
and
That was really good as well.
it is an amazing parade, and the cool thing is that if you listen to it carefully,
Hmm.
if you listen to the soundtrack very carefully, you can hear the music from the Main Street
Yeah,
Electrical Parade
yeah,
in
yep,
the soundtrack.
yep.
They do have it on several floats. Well, they're going to play a modernized version of the Main Street Electrical Parade, Hoedown, and so it was a beautiful, beautiful parade. And people ask, well, why don't you just bring that back? And it's because it's like 10 times more expensive than the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yeah. But it was a
There's
fantastic
a
parade.
lot more
Yeah.
performers that are involved.
Yep,
There,
yep,
there's a lot more electricity and things that have to be considered when you
yep,
have like Paint the Night.
yep.
But the Main Street Electrical Parade has been updated at least a couple times, and it's always going to look good, and it's definitely improved so much since it first came out in the 70s.
Mm.
And we've seen all kinds of things added since then, but it is probably the longest running parade that they've ever had. I mean, the original ran from for 25 years. The original run, it ran from like
Wow.
71 to 96.
Yep, yep.
Is that right? So right around there, and then
Whoa.
it's come back here and there.
Yeah,
When they needed it to, and this parade has also gone. The Main Street Electrical Parade has also gone on to Florida and back,
yep, yeah, it
so they have
has.
to take it back and forth.
Yep.
And then of course it was over at the Main Street Electrical Parade was at California Adventure when they needed more attendance over at California Adventure,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like Disney presents the Main Street Electrical Parade instead of Disneyland presents the Main Street Electrical
Right.
Parade.
Yep,
So they
yep.
kind of had to adjust the wording
To
on the
bring it over there.
floats.
Yep, yep, yep.
But it definitely is a fun parade. Everybody loves it.
Have we ever seen Paint the Night come back? Well, or was it only the once that we did see it? Because I can
So
only
far,
remember
it's only been that once, I
one time.
think.
Yeah, I'd love to see that come back. Maybe when there's more the attendance picks up and all that sort of thing. But I don't think we've had a bit of any problem with attendance lately at Disneyland or Disney
It
World.
it seems that way, but I think things are still kind of they're still kind of working things out. I mean, it definitely looks busier, but it probably isn't as busy as what we ever originally saw it when they
Yep,
had all of these parades. And that's
yeah,
what they're having to try and do, because people say,
yep,
if you want me to pay this kind of price, what are you going to give me for it?
yeah,
What am I going to get
yep,
out of going to the park on these days? And so they're having to try and bring back as many performers as they can
yep.
to get these parades. I'm definitely hoping that Disneyland gets Magic Happens back, because from what I've heard from performers who were former cast members, that they have a 5-year contract that they have to keep. So I'm hoping that Magic Happens comes back soon,
Absolutely.
because it is an amazing parade that was just months old before they had to chop it, with the parks closing.
Yeah. And while we're talking about sort of what's being offered at the parks, let's go over to another story of yours. We've had a bit of a price
Yay!
increase. We've had a bit of a price increase here, and here it is kind of laid out. But further to that, and what you were talking about, like I mean, there's no actual. I mean, character interaction is very limited at the moment. A lot of people go to the parks for character instructions. Of course, we haven't seen the parades that we normally do, and lots of shows have sort of been, not on offer because of the pandemic. And I think as things pick up a little bit here, with the pandemic going away, case numbers sort of dropping, and hopefully we get a lot of things coming back. But yeah, it hasn't sort of stopped a price increase, and we do get this every year though, Chase, right? We get a bit of a price increase at the parks.
We do, but it's typically after the new year. So it's, regularly you would see the price increases around January or February. This is like the first time that I recall that they've had it right before the holidays, which really hurts in the wallet.
Yeah, yeah,
It's very, very difficult to bump up the prices, not only in in park tickets, but parking as well.
yeah,
You're getting almost no value whatsoever by parking your car. And so it's crazy to think that just for one car, holding anywhere from 1 to 4, 5, 6 people is going to cost you $30.
mm,
And
mm,
it's even more to park at a hotel. If you want to self park, it's going to cost that much, if not more. It can be up to $50 to park at a hotel with like a valet type of parking.
yeah,
Um, so it's crazy what this increase, and it's just at the wrong time.
yeah, yep.
Especially when, we are still recovering financially
Just gonna
from the
say, yep,
pandemic.
yep,
And it is like really difficult to say, okay, it's already costing you, upward of, close to $200 per adult,
yeah,
for like a park hopper pass. Let's do that for a family, of charging them all of this, and then
mm,
we're coming out soon with Genie Plus at Disneyland.
yeah,
That's another cost on
cost, yep,
top of
yep,
this, and it's
yep.
just like, whoa, can we take a second and breathe? you know
Do you think? Do you kind of think that a lot because of these price, increases, it's priced a lot of families out of actually going to Disneyland or Disney World? Do you think that they
No,
will go?
absolutely.
That they can't afford to do this anymore. A lot of sort of middle income people, and you're right. A lot of people are still sort of suffering. Haven't got their jobs back after the pandemic, or on part-time wage instead of full-time wage, and really struggling. And a trip to Disney World would really help their mental health, but they can't afford to go. So, yeah, it's tough, I have to say. The other thing I sort of in relation to this story of yours, Chase, was the magic keys. Now, there's been a little bit of we had a bit of controversy with the magic keys, that a lot of people were saying that they couldn't book in space. And now we see that, Magic Key is sold out for December, all the way through. So you can't get a reservation for December on any of the Magic Keys. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It is correct, and I just looked at it this afternoon. So as of this afternoon, and
Yep.
I posted this on my TikTok, and I have seen major YouTubers, influencers,
Mm.
mention this. The Dream Key, which is no longer being sold, that's the highest tier. They have
Why?
stopped
Because that's
selling
sold out?
that.
That's sold out,
They
or?
they say sold out because that's the word for it, but right now they're actually pausing it. They're not selling them anymore, but there's no set date of when they'll be bringing them back.
Wow. Okay.
So you might as well say it's sold out, because that's what it seems like. But now
Mm.
you can no longer get the Dream Key, which is the one for $13.99, the $1,400 annual pass.
Whoa.
Um, And so only the other three keys remain. But as of today, the at least, from what I saw, all of December is gone for the dream key and the belief key for sure. I'm pretty sure it's the same for the other people, for who have the other two keys, and that would be the imagine key and the enchant key.
Right.
So if you have any of them, you're not going to be able to get a reservation unless you're lucky and somebody drops their reservation and just, decides not to go.
Mm.
But this has a lot of people concerned because of the fact that if you look at the calendar for somebody just buying a ticket, it's wide open. It's
Yeah.
wide open. There's
Yep.
not a single day that's not available.
Yep.
Weekdays, weekends, everything all the way through the entire holiday is wide open if you want to have a ticket, which means that they're severely limiting who comes in with a magic key. And
Mm.
as far as from the videos that I was watching and a couple people that I particularly follow, it looks like this is only an issue with Disneyland right now.
Yeah, not Disney World. Yep.
Disneyland Paris doesn't have this problem. Walt
Mm-hmm.
Disney World
Good.
isn't experiencing this. They have plenty of balance between being able to let people with their annual passes and their purchasing tickets in. But for some reason, they don't want to do that with Disneyland, and they're perfectly capable of doing so.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yep.
we're not quite sure what's going on behind the scenes, but it
Yeah.
would be nice to have some sort of answers, or at least, because we know, like when everybody started complaining about October, it's just all of a sudden, boom, they flipped a switch and all these dates reappeared. So they can open it up at any time.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
just not doing so for magic key holders, which is, of course, very upsetting for dream key holders, as you can
Absolutely.
imagine,
Yep.
because they're supposed to have no restrictions.
Yeah, and like with the annual
And
pass system, you never had an issue, right? So,
exactly.
yeah, you never had an issue. This is the only time there's been an issue. And it looks as if there doesn't need to be that issue because you can still buy a ticket. Yeah, it's completely disappointing if you have spent that amount of money on an annual pass with no block out dates, and now you can't get a reservation. What's going on? I just don't know. It's extremely interesting, but I would be totally upset if if I
There's a
was in that
lot of,
situation.
like, the biggest influencers we have out there on YouTube are saying, look at my calendar. My calendar, as a dream key holder, is the same as somebody with an imagine or a enchant key. And they
Yeah,
said this shouldn't be happening. I
yeah,
shouldn't pay $1,000 more than them and have the exact same dates.
yeah,
It doesn't make
yep,
any sense.
yeah, yep.
So yeah, I can see why they would be really upset, and I
Hmm.
can also see that it might not be very good for maybe they're trying to keep people from renewing next year, because I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think people are going to want to get these high tiers. And you're going to see a lot of really, upset people, because for all the positivity that's out there on YouTube and all these influencers who really do try and stay positive on their channel, this has got them really ticked off.
Yeah, yeah, and we did talk about this before, and they kind of last time this happened, and we were getting a lot of block out, not block out, but I mean no reservations available, sort of on the weekends, and then and then it hit mainstream media, and Disney opened up a lot of dates after that. So I
Yep.
kind of think hopefully they'll open up a few dates for December as well, because not for a person who spent that much money on an annual pass and no blockouts, not having one day available to them in December, it's just not good enough.
No, I
So
mean, I posted a picture of it on my TikTok, I have the picture of my calendar, and every single day in December is crossed off with a gray X. I'm just
Hmm.
like, this is awful. This is so
Yeah.
depressing. And
Yeah.
I chose, of course, Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley.
Of course you did. Yeah. It's pretty disappointing, and yeah, don't know what else I can say about it really. Let's hope that some dates do open up, but yeah, in a way, I kind of hope this reservation system goes away. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it at all.
I
I'm
mean, I think if anything, if you just took away reservations for um, the highest tier,
Yep.
you would have them all back in seconds. You'd be like, "Yay! I'm the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Disneyland. Love
Absolutely.
you."
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen. But it would be a perfect perk for people paying $1,400 for a dream key. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're just going to turn off the reservation system for these dream key holders, and voila, you would have so many happy people because they wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. And then just don't, you can continue not selling the dream key, leave it as is, and keep and let people just, continue either getting the other keys or what have you. But you will make so many people super happy if you make that a perk.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
just make reservations available to the other three keys, which, is then has the pot for reservations, which is a smaller number. And I think you'll do fine, but not very likely that that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
it would be really good. It would make the most sense.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And like you said, it'd make people happy, straight away. That's all you need to do. Yeah, interesting. We'll follow that and see what happens, and see if anything does happen to open up for Magic Key holders in December. So let's move on now. I just wanted to go over to the Disney Wish. We've been hearing so much about this ship and some more amazing news. We've got to look at this action-packed, incredible themed party competition going back to Disney Wish. But have a look at this sort of bouncy castle slide sort of area coming to the Disney Wish. I mean, this looks like it's in a stadium or something. Look at the basketball court. This ship is just
They
going to
have
be amazing.
I mean, now that space is probably what you're looking at is probably like a wall of mirrors, but it certainly does make it look
Well,
quite large.
large. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
which is still an impressive size for a cruise ship.
yeah. Let's not forget this is a cruise ship, and it's sailing next year. And you can purchase tickets for people and get people on board this ship. Through your travel agency. So
I absolutely can.
yeah, so make sure you head over to DisneylandToday.net for details on booking your next holiday with Chase.
I
He
can
can,
also do that for the Star Cruiser for
yep,
the Star Wars experience in Walt Disney World. So
yep,
that might
yep.
be something that you might want to book travel to for next year for something special.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think that's, we've talked about the price. Do you think, the first few months are going to book up quickly for the Star Cruiser? What
Oh,
are you thinking?
I already know that the first like several months are gone. They're
Oh
gone.
my God.
It's packed. I mean, we're talking like it's already sold out like well into the middle of the year.
Uh, uh, uh,
It's people are like they're loving it. They're just eating that up like, I'm trying to think of some sort of like
I
like
can't,
connection to something to Star Wars, but I was like, yeah, they're just, they went all Jabba the Hutt on that stuff, and they're just like, nom, 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 nom.
oh my God. Just remind us quickly, Chase, how much it is for a 2-night stay in a standard
It's a
cabin.
lot.
Yeah. And, and it's booked up for like 6 months or something. Is that what you're telling me?
It's like I mean, it is crazy. I mean, there are some like, I mean, looking at what I've been able to see and agents who have booked it, they are usually it's they're on the phones for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to wait in a queue to talk to somebody to help people book their vacations
Oh my
in this.
God.
And if you think about it, it's only a 2 night experience.
Yeah.
So for it to sell out like that
Yeah.
every 2 nights, it's
Do you
just
know
packed.
how many people per stay they can have on the cruise ship? Do you know? Or?
Um, I want to say that it's about like, I think the most that some of the rooms will do is like 4 to 6,
Yep.
maybe.
And how many
So that
rooms
that sounds
available?
kind of like the kind of and that's just we're all we know about right now is like the basic cabins. We're not talking about
About the,
like
yeah.
the big crazy suites and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
I'm just talking about like basic room capacity is probably anywhere from 4 to 6 people.
Right.
And so to be completely booked for several months, this thing
Wow.
is going to like be amazing. It's going to be the trending thing everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we thought that the price would hold people back, but obviously it isn't. Obviously people believe that is this going to be special enough to spend that kind of money. Yeah, I'm shocked. I can't believe that it's booked out for that long. That is absolutely amazing. I, I don't know what
It's
to say.
crazy. It surprised myself. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I saw a calendar somewhere. I can't remember where I was looking, and it's just like all of these are gone. And
Yep.
and they released it in tiers. Now it's open, of course, to the general public to be able to make reservations as of, I believe, the 28th of October.
Hmm.
But at first they had like D23 members, I like gold members for D23 were I think first, and then Disney Visa credit card holders were next, and then it was like general public. So they had like 2 or 3 tiers of reservation periods where you could register ahead of time, and now it's open to the general public so anybody can book a trip on it. It's just that this is the perfect example of why it's good to have a travel agent,
Yep.
because we will be on the phones for
Well,
6 to 8 hours for
instead of
you.
you, yeah, instead of you, yeah.
It's
So
the only way to book it right now. You have to be able to call in and say,
hey, help me
here's
out
how
here.
many and
Yep.
here's what we
Yep.
need and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff. So if you want somebody to do that for you, give me a call.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said, details on DisneylandToday.net and how you can do that and how you can book with Chase. And I think if you want to book a 2 night stay on the Star Wars cruiser, you better get in pretty quick if you want to get in next year. I think, I'd be
Yeah.
calling right now. If I had that kind of cash, I'd be calling right now to make sure that I secured some sort of spot for next year, because it looks like the whole year's going to sell out before we know it. Yeah, moving on from that one, I'm totally shocked on that one. Just wanted to talk quickly because we're getting close to that hour now, and I've got so much more here that we need to talk about. But I just want to talk quickly about the new Cirque du Soleil show coming to Disney Springs. This is going to be drawn to life, and what it's going to be all about is. Eric here is doing a lot of animation drawings that the acrobats are going to kind of follow during the show. This looks absolutely amazing, the way that they're going to do this. As you can see here, his animation
That's
in the
so
background,
cool.
and they're following that. So Drawn to Life is the name of the show. I'm not sure when the show's going to open, but it looks to me that it's very, very close. This is kind of a behind-the-scenes look. So this is what you can expect to see of Cirque du Soleil, which has been closed for quite a while now, down there at Disney Springs in Walt Disney World. looks absolutely amazing. I mean, he draws Mickey Mouse now, which is a great honor. He also drew the genie. So his imagination and drawing certainly will bring a fantastic show. I mean, especially with the performance from Cirque du Soleil. If you take a look here, how it all
Oh,
works and how it all happens, it's really amazing, and can't wait to see it if I ever do. I'm sure, Chase, if you want to, if you ever go back to Disney World, you will want to take a look at
absolutely.
this
I would
show.
absolutely get tickets to see this show because, in my experience, it is worth every penny to watch a Cirque du Soleil um, production. I've
Yep,
seen four of them, and they're absolutely incredible from start to finish. You are completely captivated and just eyes like drawn to the stage. These performers and these acrobats and aerialists and everything are just so on point. They are perfectionists in their art, and it shows on stage. You will never get anything so amazing of like a performance, a completely physical performance. You will never see anything so amazing as a
absolutely.
Cirque du Soleil show. So I would definitely go and see it if I was heading out there.
Yeah, so that there it is. It's November the 18th that it actually starts. We'll be looking forward to see it in the flesh when we head on over there. Um, Now let's get to a couple of big things that have happened this week. They're two trailers that we've seen. The first thing I want to talk about, and I hadn't heard anything about this. The trailer came out, and you guys sort of were plastering it all over our chat, and I was looking at it and going, "Wow, this is fantastic!" But this is the new Pixar movie that we're going to see, and it's Lightyear, and it's based on actually the real Buzz Lightyear. We kind of figure, Chase, that Buzz is sort of an action figure of a real person now. We get to see this person's journey. Uh, did you know that this was actually coming, Chase? And what did you think about the trailer?
I did know it was coming, but I figured that this was going to be like, when you think of Buzz Lightyear, you think of Toy Story and you think of Buzz and his first arrival into Andy's room in the box in his packaging, and you're like, okay, so this is going to be what Buzz Lightyear like thinks his entire like career has been
Yep, yep,
before he ever got to Andy's room. So this was just going to be, I was thinking, on a toy scale. This blew my mind. My jaw like hit the table. I'm like,
yeah,
what am I looking at?
yeah,
I was like, this looks fantastic. It's
yep,
like the animation is beautiful. It's
yeah, yep,
stunning. It's on point. It is so advanced. I mean, this is even, we saw a huge advancement in animation with Frozen 2.
mm,
This even goes beyond that to, coin the phrase, like,
yep,
to infinity and beyond. This absolutely goes beyond that. The suit looks amazing. He looks amazing. The ships look amazing. And they really took a lot from Star Wars, they said. They
yeah,
said
yep,
this really, the planets they visit and the ships have a lot of Star Wars like influence to them,
mm-hmm,
and I can't be more excited to see this movie. And it comes out next year,
yep, in
and
summer, right?
we're just going to get so many good movies, coming out soon. So we've got Encanto coming this year. We've
Yep,
got Turning Red next year. We've got Lightyear. So many good movies coming out. I'm so excited about this because without anything to really watch in theaters,
yeah,
it was great to see that we're just now getting absolutely pummeled with these great movies coming out. I'm
yeah,
so
absolutely,
excited.
absolutely, yeah. It's going to be I think it's really the end of the pandemic now when we're seeing some of these really good movies. We did see some Disney stuff during the pandemic, but it was quite limited and it wasn't really sort of large scale blockbuster movies. And I think that is all about to change. And another thing that we are getting this Christmas, and we've been starved of any information lately, and we finally got something in the last couple of days, and that is the Book of Boba Fett. We finally got the trailer for this, and I've got to say, how do they do it? This looks absolutely amazing. It sort of leads you in, because I was wondering what they could possibly, what they were going to do with the series and what they were going to base it on. And now with this trailer, you just see that it's going to be a real deep dive into what's going on. And I just think this could be as good as, or even better than The Mandalorian, to be honest. It looks amazing.
The thing is that you have these amazing characters, and of course you got Tamora Morrison to play Boba Fett, and he's come a long way from playing Jango, and now stepping into the role as Boba Fett, which was incredibly appropriate. It was what the fans wanted to see, and they absolutely delivered. So having him back and having this this universe that we've gotten with the Mandalorian, this is absolutely all fan service. Absolutely, everything about this is all for fans, because not only does this show like an amazing tale, it just goes to show that if you beat these characters down, they will come back 10 times as hard. And he says, I'm not a bounty hunter, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, that's not what I heard. And, it's like he is ascending to the throne of Tatooine in place of Jabba the Hutt. And he's taken over, and now he's basically creating like an empire, like an actual like an underground empire, if you will, of all these places. He goes, why would you want to benefit just by yourself when we can benefit even more by being all together? And you see these characters, this assortment of characters that look kind of shady, and they're doubting everything he's saying, like, why should we believe you? Why shouldn't we just kill you right here? And as Fennec says, she's like, if this was Jabba you were talking to, he would have already fed you to his rancor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're all like, oh.
But I think with Boba Fett, I mean, in the original Star Wars trilogy, we only saw Boba Fett became extremely popular, and we didn't see much of him. He hardly even talked through that whole trilogy. We didn't know it was the whole mysteriousness of that character that we wanted to know more right back then, and we just starved of Boba Fett for so many years. And now to have this, you're right, it's just like fan service. And isn't it the way of Dave Filoni that he does service the fans, but also tells a really, really good story. So I think
we saw this with Ahsoka. He kept on saying, I guess you'll have to find out. And everybody's like, come on, we all know Ahsoka's got to be alive. And it's just like, this is how it came, the same thing. Like, that can't be the way Boba Fett goes out, to just have him smacked against the side of the skiff and just fall to his death inside the, And he's just like, that's the end. That's it for Boba Fett, who's supposed to be like the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy. It's no surprise that he came back, he got out. And and then it was like, as soon as they found out that he went and found like every piece of his armor, his name hadn't left. It was like, oh my gosh, this is his armor.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's so everybody knows who he is. He's a well known name, and it's like he never vanished, but it's like he made this great comeback and killed Bib Fortuna and came back in full force. And here he is on the throne, and we see him basically create like what is going to be a new Tatooine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's just going to be incredible to see
Yep.
because,
Yep.
before you had Hut leadership, which nobody liked. They were absolute mobs and thugs and bullies. And here you have, a Mandalorian in all sense of, the fact that they wear the armor. Now you have a different set of values going into the palace.
Yep.
What are his intentions? What are his motives? We could ask a billion questions and still not have all the answers. And that's what we're waiting for. We're like, okay, now what? Now what is he going to do? And is this going to lead right into The Mandalorian season 3? So I'm
Yeah.
extremely excited to see where this goes. And
Yep.
being with this character again just gives me goosebumps. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and the way that they have developed Star Wars into that real sort of universe of characters now. We deep diving into all sorts of different characters, and they've all got a story and all something to tell. It's like they did compare it to the Marvel universe, and that's where it's really going, and that's what's really excited about it because. All these characters are iconic, just like everyone in the Marvel universe. So it's just a natural way of doing things, and it's so clever of Dave and John to move that way when we think about Star Wars. And I think it's really brought Star Wars back for not only fans but a new audience because I think. I think with the latest trilogy, I think they didn't get so many fans, new fans like kids to latch onto it as much as they did maybe with the original Star. I mean, with the original Star Wars, kids like myself, I was 7. We just latched onto it, and I think a lot of kids latched on to Marvel before Star Wars. In the latest trilogy, but I think now with these new episodes and these new series that they're coming up with, telling people about these iconic sort of characters, I think now we're starting to get a new audience latch on to Star Wars. I really do think that's happening now, and also servicing the fans at the same time, so keeping them interested as well. I think it's a really good way for Star Wars. And look, what I would love to see is all these series being told about different characters, and then we get a movie bringing them all together. That would be an awesome way of doing a new Star Wars movie as well.
Well, I mean, just think about it as like this way, and how I was kind of thinking about this and kind of picking my brain for a moment as you were talking about that. But
Yeah,
I was thinking here, you look at Marvel and how they do things, and basically they take the characters, and we've had them for, a decade at least. We've had
yeah, yeah, we
Captain
have.
America and
Yeah,
Iron Man and Black Widow, Thor, all
yeah,
of them. We've had them for, over 10 years. And that is really smart to keep people new and engaged
yeah,
with the characters that we love. So we will have Spider-Man movies. We will have all of
yeah,
these things in that thing. So, but I think what was really smart on the part of, of Lucasfilm and getting everything ready for these sequels is to make sure that they had the characters that we know: Luke, Leia, Han,
yeah,
Chewie, R2D2, C3PO,
yeah,
having all of these characters. So that's why it's really, really good to make these ties, almost make like a multiverse, if you will,
yeah, yeah,
of having all of these characters and where they fit into the time zone, because or the plot basically is saying, okay, where are the characters that I know? And it's
yeah,
like the second you put them in somewhere, everybody is going to be like all over it. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yep.
happens with any series. If you put at least one character that makes a special appearance that everybody knows, you're golden, because
Yep.
it's like they're like, okay, now it makes sense, now I know where we are.
Yep.
But that's why I'm kind of worried about the Eternals, which is the new Marvel movie coming out after
Yep.
phase 4.
Yep.
They talk a lot about Doctor Strange, but are they going to
To bring
have
him in.
any sort of special appearances
Yeah.
by our Avengers? And
Yep.
that's why What If was really successful, because you had all of the actors reprise their roles as these iconic characters,
Yep.
which made us want to see more. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, great. Now we've got Chadwick Boseman in his last performance
Yeah.
on What If. I have to see it now.
Yeah.
And so, if you at least keep some sort of character consistent to these different movies,
Yeah.
you will always bring every level of fan, from the new ones who like to associate with Rey and Finn and Poe and all of those new characters, but you will bring the people like myself who are like, oh man, I love Luke, I love Chewie, I
Yeah.
love,
Yep.
all these new characters, and or all these classic characters rather. So that's why Fett is going to be so incredibly popular, and that's why it was the second he came on screen,
Yep.
everybody just like
Yeah.
went wild, because they're like, yes, he's alive. That's
Yeah.
what we've been wanting to hear the whole time.
Yeah.
So the second you bring in a character that everybody knows and associates with, even if it's in a live action sense, bringing in Ahsoka in a
Yeah.
live format was just,
Wish we've
mind
never
blowing,
seen it.
because they're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
here's this character that I grew up with in
Yep.
an animated setting,
Yep.
who is now alive and breathing, and you're like, I can see Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And so this is extremely smart on Disney and Lucasfilm's part, and just continuing in Star Wars and in Marvel, because as long as we have those characters, we will always come back for more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way moving forward. And with Marvel, it is concerning. And do you think that's why? Let's talk about Spider-Man for a second. Do you think that's why they were sort of very, very, I mean, we know that Sony still owns the rights to the Spider-Man movies, and Disney was really, really persistent in getting Spider-Man to come back. As far as we know, it's only for a couple more movies, but Spider-Man is a huge part of the success of Marvel Studios. Wouldn't you have to agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yep. So for them to lose Spider-Man was probably not an option for Disney. So they had to, sort of, really go after that Spider-Man. Would you agree that he's sort of moving into the role of Iron Man? So he's sort of taking over the role of Tony Stark a little bit there. I mean, he's too young for that sort of leadership, and can I call it arrogance that Iron Man had?
He'll never be like Tony. He's
yeah.
got, like, he definitely has that, kind of following his footsteps kind of thing. It's, almost feels like a role of, like, Simba trying to step into Mufasa's paw print.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's never going to be quite the same. But, we saw with What If, and we see with this new movie, he also kind of leans into Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So he goes to Stephen to because that's his next big, I guess you could say, role model is going to be Stephen, who has, the power to be able to do this. And of course, if Tony had survived, he would have gone to Tony first. You know that. I mean, it just would have been a no-brainer. He would have gone straight to Tony to ask what they should do. How does he do this? How does he cover? And of course, Tony would have figured out something for Peter, whether it's saying, okay, this is how you're going to have to change it. This is what you're going to have to do. He would have had the answers to everything, or figured it out with some sort of science. But, it would be really, really ridiculous if this is a huge money pot for Sony.
Yeah, yeah,
It's, there are pros and cons to selling it to Disney. Like, they could say, okay, we'll give you Spider-Man to be able to, continue doing it. But at the same time, this is their big money maker. This
yeah,
is where they are getting, um, otherwise they wouldn't even be on the map. They wouldn't even be in the competition.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
to have Spider-Man, to have the potential of going into the Spider-Verse, especially with Miles Morales and
Mm.
all of the other characters that you have in that
And that
in
universe,
that
yeah.
you
Mm.
know
Yep,
multiverse, if you
yep,
will,
yep.
then they'd be ridiculous to let it go.
Mm.
And I think it's just going to, and I have heard rumors and things going on that this is definitely not the last movie. It may be the last, in this, what would you, like, I'm trying to think of the, trilogy. It's
Yeah,
because it's, you had, Homecoming, you had Far From Home, and then Now Wait, No Way Home.
yeah, yep,
And so that will be a trilogy, but, that's not to say that this is Tom's last movie as Spider-Man.
yeah,
And I think that's what we can come to expect. I think we'll see him definitely stepping into as lengthy a period of a lengthy as contract as we saw with every other Avenger.
yeah, yep.
But whether or not it's owned by Disney and not Sony Disney, Sony
Yeah,
Marvel,
yep, yep.
kind of battling over it. We'll see more movies to come. So I think that's what we should expect with Spider-Man. I don't
Yep.
think it's going to be over anytime soon. We're
No.
going to be enjoying Spider-Man movies for quite a while yet.
Yeah, because he's such a big part of the Marvel Studios universe. He really is.
Absolutely.
And the way he's sort of entwined with Tony Stark, even now, we're still seeing Friday come into the picture, which sort of Tony sort of guiding him from the grave. You sort of have to agree. So,
I mean, it's just like Jarvis was.
yeah,
We
yeah,
saw him take on a full bodied role in with even Vision and
yeah,
Ultron. It's like having Jarvis present in that mind,
mm,
and that AI
yeah,
was able to propel his character forward
yeah,
into an eternity. It's like, now it's like forever. So Jarvis even got a upgrade and push through the universe
yeah, absolutely.
with Vision and Ultron. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see the new Spider-Man movie. It's going to be a good one, and I have to agree with you. I don't think Disney can let Spider-Man leave the universe. I mean, we were so disappointed when we hear that might happen with Sony. I just think they're going to have to play along with Sony for a while, for many years to come, to be honest, because
probably.
we don't want to lose Spider-Man at all. And even even at over there at Avengers Campus, Spider-Man is such a big part of the show and everything else. Yeah,
I mean,
it's just not going to
he
happen.
had the only, like, really, if you look at all the shows,
Yep,
and there are like five, they do their thing and then they leave.
yep,
Spider-Man is introduced by a whole show
yep,
with the latest of Disney technology, and then he's out there for a good, half hour, greeting people, getting pictures with everybody, talking.
yeah, yep,
And it's like, you don't get that with any of the others. The Dora
yep,
Milaje, they
yep,
come out, they do their
yep,
performance, and
and
they
then I
go.
leave.
They don't
Yeah,
You don't get to stand around with
yep,
the warriors of Wakanda,
yep,
and you don't really get to stay around with Star-Lord and Gamora past their show.
yep.
So Spider-Man is the
Event.
spotlight
Yeah,
character
yep,
of
yep,
Avengers Campus,
yep,
and it's pretty much like his land. Pretty much all of it is right now is Spider-Man, because that's the only attraction,
yeah. You've got
other
the
than,
ride.
of course,
Yep,
Mission Breakout, which was in a kind of shoe-in because
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
they just drew the land with it included.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you know, the whole thing behind Avengers Campus is Spider-Man.
yeah.
So
With web
it's like
slingers. Yeah,
without that,
yeah,
there wouldn't be any point to having it be such at the forefront of Avengers Campus.
yeah,
So I think there's a very, it's going to be long, it's going to be complicated, it's going to be one of those relationships that says, it's going to be touch and go, but I think we're going to have Spider-Man for a long time, which is good.
yeah, yep. So, yeah, it was a very exciting. Oh, look, I just have to play this again because it's so awesome. But very exciting to see Star Wars develop. I love Lightyear. I reckon that's going to be great. Next year is going to be an awesome year for Disney movies, and on Disney Plus, we're going to get so many series, so many movies. It's like I said, 2022, we're back. That's all I can say. We're back. I'll probably be back in Disneyland. It's awesome. I like 22 already. We're not even there yet. I like it. It's good.
It's coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming soon. And I think, this new year is going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to 2022 for Disney, for everything else, because I think we're finally back, folks. We definitely are. Now, once again, we've been talking now for an hour and 15 minutes. So we're 15 minutes over. We didn't even know it. So we're going to wrap it up now, folks. Hope you joined in. I hope you do a rewatch of the show just to take a look what we talked about today. Lots of things going on that are really exciting in the parks, and also in Disney Plus and Disney Animation and new movies coming out. It's great news. So hope you enjoyed the show today, guys. There'll be a rewatch so you guys can take a look after we've finished. And I think, we might do a, Saturday show. Chase and I will have a chat about it. But we could be back on the weekend. We hope very, very soon.
I've got a trip to Disneyland coming up.
Yeah. So hopefully we can maybe go live to Chase. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully we can see Bryan.
Christmas stuff.
Bryan from Brian's Magic Life coming back as well. We really do miss Bryan. And I know he's full-time in his job now, so it's really hard for him to join us. Get over to his channel. He's done a reaction, a latest update of Epcot, can I say. So go and have a look at that. It's a really good vlog. Sorry I haven't got time to throw that up today because we're kind of over time. But we will see you in the coming days. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so that you know when the next show is coming up. Chase, thanks for being with us today. Fantastic to see you again. And guys, look, we'll see you real soon, and get yourself over to one of the Disney parks if you're close by and take a look at all the holiday magic. Until then, we'll see you guys later. Adios.